Welcome back to Where Sky Blues Walk. Coventry's form is head-scratching, so we think we may have at least one reason why they're performing so badly. Coventry's form since Dennis Lawrence left in March earlier this year. 14 games, 3 of them won, drawn 2, lost 9. And is there just too many coaches? Is there too many voices at the CBS telling these players what to do? Well, Ben has a view, Tom has a view, and Jay has a view, and we are so glad you've joined us to hear all of that on Where Sky Blues Walk. There's our podcast you can listen to. There's 2-hour podcasts you can listen to. This is 20 minutes of passionate Coventry fans telling it like it is. Thank you so much for watching. I'll roll the titles, you hit subscribe, and let's listen to these 3 wax lyrical about what's going wrong with Coventry. Okay, let's jump right into it. Before we do, welcome back to all 3 of you. Thank you all for watching. This week we are covering the Swansea results. We're going to ask the 3 of you to look at right backs as we finish our review of all the defensive units. Sacktober is coming up. It's October in a week's time. We're asking how secure is Mark Robins' position, and we're going to put Tom under the spotlight and ask him about his allegiance to Coventry, where it all started and why. So, lots to get through, but most importantly, 43 years we said it was last time you beat Swansea. Make that probably 44 now. Ben, where did it all go wrong?
It's a tough one, really, because I can't really identify why it's going wrong at the minute. We're creating chances, we're not taking them. Honestly, I can't put my finger on what's going wrong. I feel like Hadji Wright's on the left and he's having a whinge about that. I feel like he wants to play centre forward, but that's just my opinion and what I think. So I honestly can't put my finger on where it went wrong yesterday. I can't.
We can blame the weather. We can blame the referee. I'm sure lots will, and some of you will have a view on that. But Jay, ultimately, you're just not putting your chances away when you get them, and we've said that how many times already this season?
Yeah, it was the same exact same. Obviously, I had this conversation last week. Exact same as last year. The football was a little bit better, I would say, last year. It's just as better. I really don't know what the actual issue is, where we're going wrong in this, because we're creating chances. We seem to be conceding every time we have a shot against us. It's just not a good combination over the last couple of weeks.
Tom, what are the terraces saying? What are the trains, the pubs saying about what's going on at the moment? I've heard the R word being mentioned already by a few. I don't think we're there yet. Are we?
Well, I don't like to use the R word. I never do. But I don't think that's going to happen. I'm still confident things will pick up. But if we're looking at yesterday, it was so poor. And we always start season slow. And honestly, it is very tiring. But hopefully things can get better. But I'm not using the R word this season, hopefully. I still think top 6 is definitely on. But things need to pick up very soon because it's looking really bad at the moment. We're 19th place. It's not looking good. But things are going to get better. We say that. But maybe after Leeds because I'm not confident for that one.
And then you look at the Tottenham result, don't we? And you know, you kind of made Tottenham look like Swansea and Swansea look like Tottenham, I think, as one kind of person to say. Where'd you put your finger on that, Ben? That 1 minute you can be, playing like world beaters, and then the next, do you think you're underestimating teams? Because you did underestimate Oxford a little bit, and you did underestimate Norwich a little bit as well.
Potentially, but I had this weird theory in my head. I was thinking about it the other week. It's like when we played Man United and Wolves, we were fantastic. It's like it seems to me like the players are all right. If they're in the shop window, they tend to turn it on, which is not a good sign. And that's just, again, I'm just throwing theories out there, but it does seem that way, doesn't it? And yesterday, they just I don't think he should have played the same team, but you can understand why he did that. But I think he needed to rotate yesterday. And I do, if it was up to me, I would change the formation. I would.
Okay. Here's what some other takes said. Jay, here it is. Jake says, relegation dogfight with 30 million spent over the last 2 seasons. I hate to say it, I really do, but we could be seeing the beginning of the end for Mark Robbins. I feel gutted once again. Mark says it was absolutely disgraceful. This is a results business, and our results have simply not been good enough. The lack of cohesion and consistency is absolutely dreadful. De Silva on with 5 minutes to go is a joke. Something has got to change. How do you respond to both those points? First of all, about the relegation dogfight, and then secondly about the substitutions, which again have been coming for criticism.
Yeah, like Tom said, it's more hope. I think I don't think we're going to be in the relegation battle, but to be quite frank, since March our form has been the relegation sort of standard. I think in that period of time we played 18 games, kept 2 clean sheets in that period of time. I think we picked up 18 points in about 57, I think it is. So if that's a sort of game to points ratio, we're looking at 48 points, which is less than Birmingham got last year. So it's not looking good in that sense. I do think Mark Robbins will turn it around at some point. And again, I touched upon it last week. I think we've got too many attackers. He's sort of confused what his best team is, the best formation, as Ben's mentioned. We've got 8 attackers for 3 spots. Maybe try putting 2 players up top, changing up a little bit. He's doing much of the same and sort of swapping players around. It's just not clicking at the moment, unfortunately.
Tom, at the start we were talking about the coach element of this, and it's only anecdotal things, isn't it? But the stats don't lie that since you lost Lawrence and in March, and you lost, I think, all the coaches, didn't you, over the summer, and replaced really the whole setup. It hasn't looked good. Mike says we've spent too much to be this bad. Too many coaches, too many voices. Where do you stand on that? Can you see people's point when they say it's actually not Mark Robbins' fault? It's the people behind him that aren't doing their job.
I can definitely see why people are saying it and why they're frustrated, because we lost Lawrence, which was a massive shame. I loved him. He's doing things now, fair enough, as I already said, in America. But then we obviously lost Vivash, which I was very surprised about. I don't think any of us saw that come in. Something must have gone on behind the scenes there. I heard today that apparently it was King's decision to bring in all these new coaches. And if that's true, then how much of a say does Robbins really have on these things anymore? Because I think Robbins is getting very frustrated. I mean, all these new faces around, too many voices, it must frustrate him. It honestly must be frustrating him as much as it is us. But I'm not seeing much with these coaches at the moment. Obviously, they can prove that they are good in the end, but they've come in and we've been shocking. So I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but apparently they just sat there using their iPads all game. So, my take on it, they're not doing very well so far, but we've still got many games to go. But it's not looking good with these new coaches. I do miss Vivash and Lawrence massively.
Okay. Just the final one, Ben, on the word effort, which came up a bit. There's some fans saying, look, the players just aren't putting in the hard yards. The 50-50 tackles have been pulled out of. There isn't the people. There isn't players showing for the ball as much as perhaps last season. Do you see that when you're watching Coventry?
Not so much. I did with Hadji yesterday. I thought he just looks like he's unhappy. I say that with a few people. I think Thomas is pretty similar. And I'm not questioning his commitment, but he looks unhappy to me. He just doesn't look right. And I see that with a few of the players. The coaches are going to take time. Doug wants to change the whole club from the inside out. So it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. But I think we do in a season we've lost Kells. We lost Kells last season, the start of the season. We lost Fads. We lost Vivish, and we lost Lawrence. And that is a lot of experience and a lot of old school people and influence around the club to lose in one goal.
All right. I think this tweet says it all then. I'm lost for words. We've had a whole season now to replace Hamer and we haven't. No commanding centre-back brought in after Faz Vivash, massive loss. Something is very wrong at the moment. We can't keep being on the sheaf will fix things train, which I think sums up most of what you've said. Hey Jay, it's Ellen Road next though. That'll be all right for you, won't it?
Nice easy 3 points for us, obviously. I was after the Spurs game. I was very positive against Swansea. Obviously, we haven't beaten them for donkey's years. But honestly, the freedom of the pitch, it was absolutely horrific that day. So I've got zero confidence we're going to get a win away at Leeds. Unfortunately, normally I put my team of the week, team who's going to play the game. I honestly don't know who's going to play, who earns the right to play in that game. Yeah, I've been chatting to Tom on Twitter today and yesterday. I'm being glum, to be honest with you, about the whole sort of situation. So Leeds next week. Going to be a great atmosphere, I'm sure, but I'll take a point all day long today.
Yeah, this was a fiery game last season. This one, Tom at Ellen Road. There was lots of little scraps going on all over the pitch. He's not going to do two up top for this game, is he?
No, I don't think he can risk it. I mean, but I was there last season. It was a very scrappy game. I remember with Thomas and Somerville. Obviously, Somerville isn't there anymore now, but it's going to be tough. I think he's not going to play two up front. I reckon. The thing is, I don't know who he's going to start up front. He's either going to, he could start Bassett, who still looks lively, very close to scoring yesterday as well with hitting the crossbar. But then again, he could start Sims. Sims is a more experienced player. I don't know what the lineup's going to be. It's going to be very interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if he changes the defence since we see Kitchen come in, to be honest. But it could be a very different team. But I just hope we get something. I'd take a draw any day of the week now.
Okay. Ben, would you take a draw now?
Yeah, I'd take a draw, but it wouldn't surprise me if we go there and win after how shit we've been. Excuse my French. But it'd be typical Cov to go and beat them. It would be. I mean, we took 4 points off them last season, and we'll see. Yeah, I'll be there next week. Hoping.
Yeah, you absolutely did. Yeah, and they haven't been playing brilliantly either. Don't forget, there's 3-3 against Portsmouth. The only scrape by Hull last game out as well. All right, then, if you haven't yet done so, please do drop us a subscribe and do like the video. These three work incredibly hard on all their social media channels, so do give them a follow as well. Sky Blue, Jay, Tom Upton, all those big numbers at the bottom, and Ben put his on, but we'll put it in the comments below. All right, it's our final review then of the defensive position. We did goalkeepers, we've done central defenders. Tom did left backs a couple of weeks ago. Now we're up to right backs. So what is the strength and depth in right backs at Coventry City? Let's have a look at what transfer markets say you've got. And the answer is not a lot.
Yes, brilliant.
Josh Eccles can play in there as well.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Of course, yeah. Is it fair to say, Jay, that this is an area that will need some investment, if not January the summer?
I don't like to speak for Tom and Ben, but I think every fan said we needed a right back in the summer. Everyone knew we needed one. He plays there, not fantastic, I would say, in my books. Milan's obviously absolutely love the guy, but it's definitely an area we need to sort of do something in. Apparently, we tried to get someone on transfer deadline day, same guy that Burnley were after, but couldn't get a deal sorted out. But yeah, definitely an area we do need to strengthen because Milan looks absolutely shattered at the moment. 6 games in.
Yeah, Tom, I don't need to ask your view on this because it was you shouting up and down about right backs in that transfer deadline day video we did. How's Milan done in the games you've watched?
I thought he was actually quite poor yesterday. I mean, I got a K, sorry. Sorry.
Kind of cat play right back.
Yes. The first goal was his fault, I would say. Gave away the stupid foul. Not a great game yesterday, but except for that, I think he's been quite good. One of our better players this season. Obviously, last season we know how good he is. Obviously, the one thing I'm just praying is that he doesn't get injured. Because if he gets injured and Joel's playing there every game, obviously Eccles can play there as well, but then we need someone in that midfield position as well. We're pretty screwed. But Milan's not a player known for injury, which is good. He seems to
You've said it now, Tom. You've said it, haven't you?
Yeah,
I've gone and jinxed it at Leeds away. Poor yesterday, but so far this season, brilliant. So yeah, one of the best players in the team at the moment. That's
Okay. Ben, I mean, I think they pretty much said it all. But anything to add to that debate?
I don't want to go against the lads, but I'm it's not an area I'm worried about, to be honest. I think if Milan did get injured, I think they'd just call Burrows back, and I actually quite like Burrows. I think he's done a good job when called upon. I don't know. Latty's more than capable of filling in there. He's not going to offer as much as Milan, but he's definitely good enough cover for me anyway.
Okay. All right then. We've finished now going through the defence, so I'm going to ask you to give me a grading out of 10 on the Coventry defence. That includes goalkeepers, central defenders, left backs, right backs, the whole lot of that for those 5 positions. Ignoring where you are in the league and, of course, the position you sit in, because that can all change in an instant. It only takes 2 wins, and you're up in the playoffs. What number out of 10 would you give it, Tom?
I'd give it a 7. I think they're more than capable to do their job. You've got Milan. Let's say an 8. Actually, I'll give it an 8. You've got Milan, who's one of the best right backs in the league. You've got Bidwell or De Silva, can't choose which one it is most games. Who both can do a solid job. Dovin, who's been pretty decent so far, and then you've got 4 centre backs who, on their day, can have a great game. So yeah, it's solid 8.
Jay, any advances on 8, or is that too optimistic?
No, I'm going a little bit lower. I'm going at 6.57. Again, like Ben, I think we do need that depth on the right. Left backs are okay. I think Jay De Silva has been our better left back this season. He's done well. Bidwell did well against Spurs. And the 4 centre backs, I really like them individually, but I still think we need an experienced centre back in there, a leader. Again, the first goal when it came in, the ball just sort of bobbled for the Swansea player, and the second goal as well. The guy had sort of the whole pitch to sort of run towards, and no one sort of dictating anyone to get out there, kind of thing. So I would go 6.5, 7 at best, being kind to Swansea.
Okay. All right, Ben, you're going to sort this average out for us.
No, I think they're both being too kind. The defence has got potential. They're very young, but I can't give them anything more than a 6 this season. I think we're missing some grit and know-how in there as a centre-back. But like I say, Milan, young. We've got Bobby Thomas, young, lots of potential. Kitch, young, lots of potential. Binks, young, lots of potential. The area I would have sorted out in pre-season would have been left-back. I'd want a similar Milan-type left-back. They're not easy to come by, of course, but that's that would have been one of my number 1 priorities.
Yeah, I think half the championship was after a left back at some point. All right, thank you for that. If you disagree with anything that the lads have said, which I know often every week you do, that's great. We love debate. Drop it in the comments below, and we will get to them next week. It is October, just around the corner, in a couple of weeks' time at least, and of course that's the month where managers fear, because up to that second international break is where people start to lose their jobs. I don't think for a second that Mark Robbins is under any kind of pressure, but Ben, his relationship with the board is still sound as far as you're aware?
If I was to comment on that, I'd just be speculating, but because I don't actually know what Doug's thinking, or I don't know him well enough, or I've seen enough of him to judge. But if I'm Doug, and I've done this much investment into the club, I've got to be having a think about it.
Okay, I
do.
Jay,
I tweeted this week. Yesterday. Sorry, this is the first time I feel that I feel like Roberts is under pressure a little bit. I personally will give him the time to sort of get things right. I wouldn't push a button to get rid of him anytime soon. But after his interview yesterday, he did seem he didn't throw the players under the bus a bit, but he did sort of call them out a bit. He did take a little bit of blame himself, saying he should have played the exact same team, and he's learned from that he can't do that, and the players can't do it. So I do feel that he is feeling a little bit of pressure. There's a lot of chat on Twitter at the moment calling for his head, which I think, for me, I think it's silly talk, a bit of reaction after yesterday's loss. But I think as Ben said, we don't really know what Doug's thinking. So he is a businessman. He's invested a lot of money into the club. So we'll see. But for me, he still stays in there.
Okay. And finally, Tom?
I would like to think his job's safe, But to be honest, you never know what Doug is thinking because he is a businessman. I just hope he doesn't do the unthinkable and get rid of him because there's not many more choices I could think of who we could bring in. And I love Robbins. I sing his praises any day of the week, what he's done for the club. We could be a League Two team and I'd still want him to be our manager. So I'd like to think his job's safe, but there's a lot of talk going around from different fans with different perspectives. Mine is I'd love to keep him. Obviously, he's like the king to us, but you never know what Doug's thinking. But I'd like to think his job's safe.
Hopefully next week we can talk a bit more positively. Maybe 3 points. 3 points from Leeds. But for now, thank you, Ben. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for joining us on Where Sky Blues Walk. Drop us a like, drop us a subscribe before you go, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.